Hello and welcome to Cash in the Celebrity Attic, the show that searches for hidden treasures in the homes of the well-known and then sells them at auction. Today I'm on my way to meet a rather well-known businessman. This right-hand man casts a watchful eye over wannabe entrepreneurs, and in the boardroom he'll never ever hear these infamous words from his boss: "You're fired." Have you guessed who it is yet? Today I'm in Northamptonshire and I'm on my way to meet Nick Hewer. Lord Sugar's right-hand man on The Apprentice makes a razor-sharp assessment of everyone he meets. Nick famously keeps tabs on wannabe business folk, and nothing escapes his searching eyes. When he's not scrutinising them, he divides his time between a cottage in France and this farm in Northamptonshire, where he's a dab hand with a tractor. It's actually his pride and joy. He shares his love of country living with his partner, Catherine. And coming up, Nick can't wait to see the back of this French walnut chair.
I've always hated it. Really? Yeah, if you like it, I'm delighted.
As for Catherine's use of this copper coal scuttle, do I detect a flush of embarrassment?
It was a communal ashtray which was never, never emptied.
And at auction, there seems to be a pattern in our sales. The moral of the story here is that anything you say you don't like sells really well. Everything you say that you like doesn't sell brilliantly. But will we still be laughing when the final hammer falls?
Thank you very much indeed.
I can't believe it. Jonty Hearnden's beaten me to it. He's eager to get cracking with his search of the Hewer's home. And they're obviously expecting him.
Oh gosh,
Look.
No. Come on. Hi guys.
Oh, hi.
Nice to see you. And you.
How are you?
I'm fine,
Good to
thanks.
see you.
Well, I expected you to be in pinstripe suit.
I'm wearing one underneath all this clobber.
This is what you get up to in the country, isn't
Yeah, we're doing a bit of tidying up.
it? Lovely tractor.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I do.
3-cylinder Massey Ferguson 35.
Doesn't get much better than that.
It gets no better than that.
So go on then, why have you called us in?
I've called you in because we need to raise some money for Hope and Homes for Children. I've got some things for you to have a look at, but it's very important for us. And I've seen their work around the world. I was in Rwanda, I was in Romania. It's very important for us to raise money for these small charities in these hard times. They are suffering.
So go on then, how much do you want to raise?
I suppose if we've got a target of 400 or so.
Well, the good news is that our expert Jonty's probably in there already, having a good route around. I'm going to grab him. Do you mind putting the tractor away?
Oh, well, I better be careful I don't scratch it.
You won't, I'm sure. Yeah, good luck, Catherine. She and Nick have lived on their farm for 3 years, and I can understand why they bought it. It has wonderful views over the beautiful grounds, and the house itself is pretty stunning, and each room seems to be filled with objects they've collected over the years. Nick, this is Jonty.
Hi, Nick.
What have you come up with here?
I found this amazing chair here.
Very grand, isn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely.
I've always hated it. Really? Yeah, if you like it, I'm delighted.
Why don't you like it?
I don't know. I bought it in Portobello Road 1,000 years ago after a boozy lunch. I've never liked it. So, good luck with it.
Okay.
Do you like it?
I do, actually. I can imagine you sat there.
Yeah. Where did it come from?
Well, a chair like this would have been made in France. It's French.
Is it?
That's where it came from. It's late 19th century, and it's machine carved, but it has all of its roots in the ecclesiastical past. So it's of a style that's much older.
Okay.
So we're looking at this stylized X-frame chair, but look at the detail. Look at all the detail on the back there. I mean,
That's
it's just
yeah.
amazing.
What sort of wood is
Well,
that?
it's walnut. That's what it
Of course,
is.
that's a very French thing, isn't it? Walnut?
Yes, they use a lot of that.
What do you think we'll get for it?
I think we're looking between 100 and 150 pounds at auction.
Wow, that's great. What a great start.
Yeah, I mean, when I bought it, I probably paid about 15 for it all those years ago. So I'm very pleased. And it's strong and safe, is it?
Yeah, well,
I'll tell you what, there's one way to find out. Have one last sit down on it, will you, please?
Do you think so?
Yeah, go on, go for it. You can tell us if it's comfortable.
What's the verdict?
Actually, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Well, it's a good start.
If you slide forward, it sort of catches you. But,
Brilliant. Well, you haven't got time to sit down, then we've got to carry on with the rummaging. Come on,
very
let's go.
good.
Follow me.
Excellent.
Let's go.
Excellent.
Clearly I'm in the wrong line of work. I've never had a boozy lunch in my life. Honest. But the fine wine obviously hasn't affected Nick's taste for quality furniture, and that bodes well for our search. Could there be more valuable chairs like that one? In the bureau, Jonty comes across this night watchman's clock. Nick bought it in a junk shop years ago. Clocks like this give a record of the time, date and checkpoint of the wardens who use them. Up-to-date versions are still in use as part of security systems. Jonty reckons this one dates from around 1900 and should clock up 70 to 100 pounds for us. And when it gets to the sale room, could this vintage timepiece be our star item?
And a lot of interest in this pre-sale through the internet, I have to say. And we can start this at £110 completion.
Yes, woo, indeed. How much do the bidders like it? Only time will tell. All that excitement is still to come, though, but the search of Nick and Catherine's house continues.
Catherine, come and tell me about this cauldron.
Now, this really takes me down Reminiscence Lane, actually, yes. Very, very early purchase when I was a student, actually. I remember getting it in it was an old market in Greenwich. And I'm embarrassed to say its function you may not actually guess, but it was a communal ashtray which was never emptied.
So did you buy it because you were looking for something decorative as a coal scuttle, because this is obviously what it was designed originally for?
No, I just bought it because at the time I liked the shape.
Well, the shape itself has a 19th century feel, a late 19th century feel. But if you look at it closely, look around the outside here, you can see how it was made. We have a copper base, and at some point, or when it was constructed actually, they have placed a lacquer of brass on the outside. But what's happened is that somewhere down the line it's been rubbed and cleaned and rubbed and cleaned, and that lacquer has come off. But I do like the lovely shaped legs particularly, and always what I find very pleasing is either this stylised acorn stroke pineapple, not quite sure which one it's meant to be, and then of course you've got the lion mask handles on the side. And if you look on the inside here, we have the zinc lining.
Yes.
This can be lifted out and the coal can be put in or taken out, as the case may be. I think it's a very pleasing shape, and as a consequence I hope that we should get between 40 and 60 pounds.
Okay.
Are you happy about that?
Yes, I'm very happy with that, yes.
Brilliant.
In the kitchen, I stopped to look at some ceramics. No Wedgwoods or Royal Daltons here. And silver continues to sell at a good price. But this tray is not destined for the auction, alas. Then in the fireplace, Catherine finds a most unusual handbag. Nick bought it in 2009 during a visit to Rwanda. He was fascinated by the tribal decoration. Even so, it's never quite found a home here, and the Hewers are happy to part with it for 30 to 50 pounds. Jonty and Catherine continue their antique hunt, and as for me, there's something I'm dying to ask Nick about. How do you end up being Sir Alan Sugar's sidekick?
Very simply by finding yourself in the right place at the right time. I'd worked for him for many, many, many years. I'd retired. He had become a friend. He called me back to talk about the possibility of his fronting The Apprentice, which he does brilliantly. I worked with him on that, and when the push came to shove and they said, well, who will you have as an advisor? He said, Nick would do, and I said, no, he wouldn't, and there was a bit of a tussle. But as usual, he won. He won when he said he had fixed the fee, actually.
Right.
And you can have no better agent than Lord Sugar.
Oh, really?
No.
He's formidable.
He's the man.
What's it like working on that programme?
It's hard work, actually. It's a very honest programme. We take it very seriously. Those candidates deserve to be treated very seriously. And it's non-stop, week after week after week. And it's tough. When it's all over, and when it's edited by those brilliant editors, then we begin to enjoy it.
It really is that sort of full of tension in the boardroom?
Absolutely. It's a hell of a place. No, it is. It is a place of terror. Not just for the candidates, but for Margaret and Karen and I too. The only one who's in full control in there is Lord Sugar, because it's his boardroom and he knows what he's doing. We don't know what he's about to do because there is no script. So we're very tentative about interrupting or something, because we may be interrupting a flow, a cross-examination, because he would have made a great barrister, a great lawyer.
How did you get into the business in the first place?
I got into the PR business as a young man, actually. I wanted to be a lawyer, but that didn't work out terribly well. And I remember my father gave me a £5 and told me to push off to London and make my fortune. And I still got the £5. That's all I've got. But I met a chap called Michael Joyce, who ran a PR company, and he took me on, for which I'm eternally grateful. And eventually I bought him out. And PR was very good to me.
So go on then, what's the best bit about being you?
The best bit about being me is having Catherine as a partner.
That's very romantic. Now there's a side of you we don't see very often in The Apprentice. Maybe that's a side you should bring out more.
Perhaps.
Or does that not work in business?
Not really. That's just for you.
I think we should get on with the rummage before you start getting romantic with me.
No chance of that.
Hey, steady on. Going by Jonty's lowest estimates so far, we stand to make £240 when we take the items to auction. We found the brass night watchman's clock made by Urban of Turkey. We're hoping that'll make £70 to £100. Or how about the brass coal scuttle on legs, which Catherine and her friends used as an ashtray. It's very decorative, with lion head handles and an acorn design on top. Jonty thinks that should fetch £40 to £60. And what about that carved wooden handbag? Or is it a man bag? Nick bought it in Africa last year, and the estimate for it at auction is £30 to £50. The target we're aiming for today is £400, and the good news is we're over halfway there already. Catherine's dug out an interesting box and is giving it a really thorough search. But in the lounge, Jonty's found a Victorian shelf unit known as a whatnot, with an inlaid decorative pattern. He clears off all the ornaments to get a better look at it. It belonged to Nick's mum and was passed down to him, along with some china figures. Most of those got smashed in a disastrous fight between his cats and dogs. Let's hope this unit goes to a home without boisterous pets. The estimate is £50 to £80. Nick's office cupboard is the last place I'd expect to find these curious old toys. Perhaps he plays with them after he's put his full-size tractor away for the day. It is my duty to find out.